Hey guys, what is up? It's Jay, and today I'm going to be talking about making an OC. So, let's begin. Also, the drawing in the video will be the making of that super sped up picture that you just saw. So to start, let's assume that you don't even know what an OC even is. OC stands for original character, as in a character you made up and is not part of an established story already. Your OC can be a character designed to fit in an already established story in your own version of it, or a character you made up for a story you also made up that the characters live in. If you make a comic, manga, or any kind of story and proceed to make characters to live in that world, as long as you thought up the designs for all of the characters, every single one is another one of your OCs. So now that we got the definition out of the way, let's talk about creation. As much as I don't like it, characters fit into stereotypes. It helps them to be remembered easily. If I say yandere, and you like anime, the first thing you're going to think of is Yuno Gasai, because she's the most recognizable one. Her body shape, the way she walks and speaks, they're all very stereotypical of a yandere character. If I say tsundere, the immediate thought is a pissed off girl with pigtails, usually a redhead but not always. However, the way they walk and talk is what gives it away mostly, but there is still the design. Most tsundere characters wear shorts or just some more sporty style clothes in general, and might be a tomboy character, and they have scarier looking eyes than the rest of the cast, and things like that. Well, except for the villains, who probably have scarier looking eyes, but they also have their own look. You can see a character and usually tell, yeah, that's the bad guy. So remember this when designing a character. You don't have to stick to everything, but it's a good idea to use the traits of the character type that your character is going to have. They'll become more easy to remember by the watcher or the reader this way. So from facial features, let's move on to the hair. When designing hair, I kinda just go with what looks good. Certain hairstyles and colors go together better than others do, but what I do is I draw the character and line it, but don't color it. Instead, make multiple print-offs or copies depending on how you made it. If you made it on the computer, you can just print off. It'll look nicer that way. But if you're like me and you do traditional drawing for the time being, then while I'm waiting for a new tablet, then you're going to have to go to a copy machine and make copies of it, which that'll be fine for the time being. Just don't color on your original one until you get something down. And then what you're going to do is take your colors and color each one a different color. And then you're going to see pretty much what fits and what looks good. I don't really use the whole character hair tells you a lot about their personality thing that everyone else talks about all that often, because I don't really, honestly, I don't know what each color stereotype is anymore, because now there are so many colors being used for different types that it just doesn't work anymore. So off of the hair, we're going to go down to the clothing. When it comes to clothing, try to dress your characters appropriate, to wherever they are. Do a lot of research on the clothing of the setting of your story. So if they're a normal high schooler or something, this is the best in terms of creating, because you can literally create a uniform from scratch. This is actually a lot of fun, and I have like 20-30 different uniform designs. So, but if your story takes place in, let's say, ancient Japan, even if it's a fictional town and completely made up story, it'll still look really odd if your characters are in that era but wearing sneakers and hoodies. You'd most likely be drawing kimono style or something like that, with sandals and whatever. Unless it's a time travel story where your modern era characters go to that time or something, then it makes sense. But other than that, stick to the clothing of the time period your story is set in. However, when your story is completely fictional fantasy world and not set in any real place, and there's a lot of RPG looking characters, take notes from Stuck in Another World anime, Sword Art Online. As much as people don't want me to say that one, that's a good one to look at. Konosuba, Dot Hack, all those kind of otherworldly, like you're stuck in another world, as well as RPG games. And see what kind of clothing they're wearing, and like the armor or whatever, and see what type of character wears what. Like mages are not going to be decked out in armor, an archer isn't going to have a two-handed sword, and a defender isn't going to be without a shield. So while these kind of characters are easy to customize pretty much to your heart's content, classes exist for a reason, and people are going to be very confused if your characters aren't using the things that are in their established class. So back again on the other ones, don't make a mage that's just decked out in armor and has a sword. That's not going to work. Mages usually have staffs and maybe a little dagger for defense. So the very last thing that I want to talk about, because I mean the clothing thing kind of just goes for all clothing, and that's really the rest of your character. And then, you know, obviously do them for their age. So don't put like a teenage character in like super adult clothing, or an adult, like a grown adult in like a uniform. It just looks weird. Unless there's an actual reason to do that, don't do that. But the last thing anyway is to remember, and this isn't even part of the drawing, this is you as a person. So like I said, the last thing, 3 times now, is to not worry if your character is even good or not. Even if it's a draft, try posting it online anyway. If you're scared of negative feedback, remember, if someone isn't saying how to improve or trying to help you, then they aren't worth your time. If someone says you suck, then it's more likely that you're actually better than them and they're just jealous. And if someone says, hey, this design looks pretty good, have you thought of making this axe a little bit bigger for your tank? Your tank character who's the big buff guy. Take that advice and try. It can't hurt to see what it looks like. Who knows, it might even look better. If they're only trying to help, they won't mind if you say that you like the axe the size it is. They'll just say, okay, that's fine, I just thought it would be cool looking, but your character's cool looking too. That's something that'll happen. That's a conversation that will happen. So that's all I can think of. If you guys have any suggestions that I missed, please write them in the comments below. Hopefully we'll be able to help some people out here. I really hope this guy's helped you. So like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later.